On page 389, Matheny makes another claim that I think is interesting and worth discussing, at least briefly. He essentially states that animals that are currently used in research and experimentation, such as mice, rats, rabbits, birds, these animals are at least as aware of their surroundings, and they are at least as sentient, if not more aware and more sentient, than a human infant. And so, if we are willing to use these animals in research and experimentation, despite their sentience and their suffering that occurs in the process, then logically, in order to be logically consistent and to remain impartial, we must also be willing to use human infants in such research and experimentation. Presumably, we find that morally appalling that we would use human infants, even, unwanted human infants, orphans, in research and experimentation, that we would cause them pain and suffering, maybe even kill them in the process of generating positive benefits for the rest of society. You probably find that morally reprehensible. However, if that's the case, Matheny is saying you ought also find it morally reprehensible that we are using animals in that same way, that we are causing the same pain and suffering to sentient beings who may be even more sensitive to that pain and suffering than a human infant would be. Um, to support one and not the other, or to oppose one and not the other, is to be logically inconsistent. So since we prohibit and would never allow, morally speaking, the use of infants in research and experimentation, we should take that same stance in regards to other animals, especially when the research and experimentation is unnecessary in nature. Maybe we would say when it's being done for non-medical reasons, to benefit humans in unnecessary ways. So that's another current way in which we use animals that seems morally suspect, according to Matheny, and at minimum it needs to be reformed, if not completely abolished.